lies. Some of us pretend like we aren't. Those in power will lie to our face and tell us that they aren't propagandizing us. We have our teachers in our schools to tell us the supposed truths of the world and how it works. We have our parents taught by those same teachers to tell us those same lies that they were taught. We have family, friends, coworkers, people in our lives that parrot the same things that they were taught back to us. It takes a curious and inquisitive mind to find the lie underneath it all. It takes people with a heart to find the heart of this world. The bourgeois of this country try to hide the heart of this world. They use the media, not just the news media, but all media, sports, television, movies, video games, even books and advertisements, to make this issue seem complicated. But if they were to let the truth get out to our eyes and ears, their grip on the world would begin to wane. You are here today because you are curious and you saw through the propaganda and you found the heart of this world. The heart of this world is in Palestine. It is with the Palestinian people, it is with the oppressed, it is with the resistance, it is with the children of Gaza and the West Bank. The powerful can no longer hide that heart, and now they are trying to kill that heart. They send white phosphorus, an internationally banned weapon, to burn that heart. White phosphorus burns so bad that when it lands on human flesh, it burns and it hits bone. They send terror bombs that murder 500 refugees taking shelter in a hospital in a flash. They send terror bombs to wipe out patients being transferred by ambulance to receive better care. They send snipers to assassinate doctors attending patients in hospitals, and they'll use the same snipers to then murder the patients. They send psycho, cyberpunk knife bombs that sever limbs in the blink of an eye. They use terror bombs to take out journalists and their entire families, which often number in the dozens, because they are brave enough to document when the Zionists try and kill the heart of this world. Try as the might, that heart is still beating. As long as there is a Palestinian people, there is a Palestine. As long as there is a Palestine, there is still a heart beaten in this world. Maybe burned and scarred and heavy with the grief of thousands of lives and decades of Zionist oppression, but it beats still. It beats here in this park today when it's a little chilly out. You have all braved the conditions to come here and be present and do our portion for the liberation of the people of Palestine. I wish to lay out some truths. Many here know the terms that are used, but not all do, and I want to try and reach those people to help them understand what's really going on in Palestine and in the occupied territories. Armed with these truths, you may be able to tell your ignorant friends, whether they be ignorant by their choice or otherwise, how and why this conflict isn't complicated. Israel, as we know it, is a Zionist imperial project carrying out the task of settler colonialism. Settler colonialism is when you replace the indigenous population of an area with an imported population. The imported population is tasked with carrying out the genocide of the native population. The goal of this is to replace a society occupying the land with a friendly society for the easier extraction of raw materials and the export of goods from that colony to the homeland. Here in America, at the very beginning of its colonization, white Europeans were used to invade Turtle Island and replace the many diverse native societies with dominant white Anglo-Saxon Protestant culture and society to extract resources and produce goods to send back to the home countries of Europe. Now the United States has itself become the home country for colonized wealth and labor and commodities to flow to. It is important to understand that all these things are a process that does not have a clean end. The genocide of the indigenous people here in America, as well as in Palestine, is a continuing process. It will never end because the resistance of the indigenous will continue and in the end prevail. That word genocide is very contentious right now. There are pundits in the mainstream news, there are politicians, including Joe Biden, who refuse to use that word. But let's focus on what that word means. In 1948, the same year as the Nakba, the United Nations came together to create the Genocide Convention. And they lay out the definition of genocide in Article 2. Quote, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. As such, number 1, killing members of the group. Number 2, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. Number 3, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. Number 4, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. Number 5, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. As you can see, the conditions in Gaza and Palestine as a whole meet at least 2 or 3, and potentially all 5 of these conditions. And I want to reiterate that genocide is a process. It is not a thing that has happened, it is something that is happening currently. The genocide of the indigenous people of Turtle Island didn't happen, it is happening here in South Dakota. You can look at the reservation system, just such as Pine Ridge, which is completely impoverished in this state. The same is true in Palestine. Palestinians, by any means necessary, are fighting their own genocide. The struggle for liberation is the most noble cause in the world. That is the flowing blood of the beating heart of this world. Liberation of all peoples in the world is the goal of socialism. Imperialism, colonialism, Zionism, these are the great barriers preventing the liberation of all peoples. Just as Rhodesia and apartheid South Africa and French Indochina and French Algeria and French Haiti fell into the dustbin of history, so too will the apartheid genocidal Zionist regime of Israel. Thank you very much.